it's working. I was talking to somebody one day, and I said, you know, okay, everything's working. I said, you know, like, back in ye old times, whenever I was growing up, like, you'd buy like a completed video game. I was talking about, you know, how quickly my PlayStation 4 broke down. I was talking about how ridiculous, like, full video games being released with mountains of revisions need to be made to them. You know, I was talking about the same old fuddy-duddy horse shit that I hated hearing from, you know, my own elders growing up. And I said, you know, I try not to be an old man about this kind of shit. I try to get hip and cool and with the fucking lingo with all the kids and whatnot. And I try my best, but there's only so much I can do when fucking objectively speaking, everything sucks now. I know the fuck, I know what you're thinking. But no, we actually have like the scientific proof. You remember, like, it was a long time back. I think it was before I joined the Navy in 2007. I read a story about how modern day high schools, modern day high schoolers were subjected to more stress in the modern time than mental patients in asylums in like the 1930s or some shit like that. And it makes sense, you know. There was a lot of stuff going around, and there's a lot of stuff that was going around in while I was active duty about kids getting in trouble for being kids and having like a permanent record. It goes a little bit like this, you know, like you've probably heard the lady that made an off-color joke, and because she made an off-color joke, she got like canceled and like lost. Don't fucking get me wrong, that joke was gnarly, but like she lost absolutely everything. So she did a TED Talk about it, believe it or not. TED Talk from the lady that got fucking mega canceled over a tweet. And yeah, that's something that's more in the modern time. But even whenever I was active duty, 2007 to 2011, there was this thing where kids were getting in trouble just for like texting pictures of themselves. So like, for example, you might have watched The Simpsons at some point in time. I know it's a niche show, not too many people know about it, but The Simpsons. So you might have watched The Simpsons at some point in time.
If you're going to use a weapon, be careful not to draw the enemy's attention.
And you might have seen Bart Simpson moon somebody. It's a rude gesture that was very common in the 90s. So, you know, kids in that 4 years, the 2007 to 2011 time frame, were getting put on the sexual offender registry permanently because they would literally moon somebody via text message, and it's like permanently on the servers for whatever. And like I said, like that was back in the day. That's when everybody had flip phones and stuff. Nobody knew what the hell a smartphone even was. That was the time period in America's sordid past that we're talking about here. Permanently on the sex offender registry for, you know, distributing child, you know, explicit images.
Interpreter just yet. If he doesn't turn up, they won't be able to do the interrogation.
Not because of an off-color joke, but because of something that was rather common in the 90s, but just interpreted through a new medium, you know. This texting thing was like brand new. So like TikTok and Snapchat and stuff like that, that's how the modern kids communicate. It's just communication. Pulling your pants down and showing your ass to somebody, it is just communication. It's considered a rude gesture, but it doesn't really matter. It is just communication. So mooning somebody through text was still considered, you know, distributing explicit images of a child, from a child. And that's all it took. That's all it took to permanently put them on that registry and make it so, like, they would have to, like, admit to people that they were on the registry. It made it so, like, they couldn't really get a job ever again. They couldn't get an apartment. They certainly couldn't get a house or anything like that. Their credit was ruined, like everything, permanently. And that was what happened in those day and age. That was what was going on in the news at the very least. I'd like to, you know, check up on that. I'd like to, you know, see, like, hey, you remember those kids that did this, you know, and got whatever, where are they now? Like, I'd love to see a thing and see whether or not they were okay. I don't know how to fucking search for that on Google without being put on a registry, but, you know. So now it is like that with the off-color jokes. Somebody makes an off-color joke and, like, you're done for good. The internet never forgets. It never moves on.
But it was you that betrayed us.
It was me. It was the Viscount.
Genoeg.
Als je niks meer doet, is als ik klaar.
So, like, objectively speaking, it's harder to get a job. Money is worth less than it has ever been worth before.
Take a good look at his face.
Harder to get a job.
Target was behind some
So they, like,
plot.
at the end of the day, okay, like, you know, today's generation is more inclusive than it's ever been in all of human history as far as anybody knows. That's very cool. Love it. Okay.
Boss, I did some digging, and it seems the target himself gave us this mission through a representative. Obviously, he couldn't contact us directly due to his predicament, but still, something about this Viscount doesn't add up.
Where are your friends?
Okay. So, like, I'm not going to sit here and complain about cancel culture or something like that. I'm just, you know, telling you that objectively speaking, you know, your modern day, you modern day youngsters are growing up in a decidedly tougher world to be in. Whether you consider it a worse world or a better world, what we know beyond any matter, beyond any doubt is that you are growing up in a tougher world. That this world is going to be harder. It is going to be more difficult for you to get from A to B through life, which is why, you know, I'm such an advocate for a return to task, you know, to not just like go with something new, to not just try and find some new pill, powder, or potion that's supposed to change your life or whatever, but rather to go to something that worked in the years long past, you know. So I'd like to have something that's self-evident like that. I'd like to have something that you can verify by yourself. You can go out there and verify, is this real? Is this something that actually exists? Is this something that actually works? Do people actually, you know, build log cabins, adobe buildings, mud houses, and stuff like this? Do these bills actually go away? Is there ever, you know, a time whenever they come back? Or is this a permanent solution? So like I said, I want you to be able to verify that on your own. I want that to be something that's absolutely, like, don't fucking take my word for it. Who the hell am I?
Alles in orde.
That being said, that might have contributed to my reluctance to stream today. So
Where did you get the
I got
information
up
that the MPLA
and
stole from the ranks?
I made some of these keto waffles that they gave me at the food pantry. And I ate some apples, and I probably ate an orange, and
You mean you attempted
by
to
the time
contact
I was
MPLA based
full,
on information from an unknown
you know, I went ahead and
Thought it was suspicious, sure.
I got out my little cycle, and I cycled for an hour talking about vampire survivors that
failed mercenaries
that that I don't know, roguelike action,
Viscount said to keep quiet for now.
whatever. I don't know what the hell you'd call it, but that game. There was it was that game,
Dus als hij begraafd is,
and
begraaf kan ons je deze vertellen.
I guess I ran into too much stuff about it, and I found out that, hey, there's a mobile copy of it, and it's free. Like, I'm so reticent to spend money on absolutely anything else. Or absolutely anything at all, really. Okay, there we go. Who's saying that? You're saying that, huh?
Is je oké?
Okay.
Hey, you! Please help me.
All I could do is pray that this guy who's approaching us doesn't see it, and he did. That's it. That's all she wrote, man. There's nothing I can do.
Several high-level British CFA
No.
officials are being held
Did
by
I
their
even get him out of here? No, not yet.
One of these prisoners is the rescue target.
Boy, howdy.
The target's location is unknown.
Love this mission.
Present with the interrogators.
Love this mission.
That prisoner you
It's
extracted wasn't the
every
target.
day,
We did get some
bro.
information.
Alright.
Seems the prisoners aren't held together.
Anyway,
The
so
cells and interrogation rooms are separate places.
So I got out my little upper lower body cycle. I said, fuck it. I'm not doing the upper body anymore. I'm just going to do the lower body. It's time for me to do whatever the hell it takes to get back into the habit of working out. And anything else at all can come later. That was the final decision on that front. So with that being said, I sat down there. I have downloaded Zombie Survivors. And played a quick game of it and then started preparing and getting myself ready and brushed my teeth and went and I donated plasma. And that was that. I'll get away from these fuckers and they're gonna mess everything up. He's shooing D-Dog. Okay.
How's Luxie?
I should still be close enough to overhear the interrogation. Because I think that you can overhear it up to 60 meters away. Snake's got 20/20 hearing, I guess. But they aren't saying anything right now, so that's not good.
That's African peach. The shape of his...
It's not good. The interpreter thinks that the man never reached
One of these prisoners is the rescue
the
known as the Viscount.
interrogation point.
Location is unknown.
I'm not sure whether or not
Boss, one of the...
9 out of 10 chance. 9 out of 10 chance.
Several high-level
Not
British
10 out of
CIA
10.
officials are being held by their Afrikaner
Not
colleagues.
guaranteed.
One of these prisoners is the rescue target, a guy known as the Viscount.
So,
The target's location is unknown. They're bound to have an interpreter present when they interrogate him. We've used info from... That prisoner you extracted...
remember the very first conversation that we overhear where the interpreter tells the private to go ahead and grab the prisoner and take him to the female prisoner over here so that they can be interviewed together, they can be interrogated together. Remember that part? Yeah, it's an important part because that's what we're about to do. What happens is, for whatever reason, the interpreter did not think that that particular prisoner made it to the location that he was supposed to be at, made it to this particular interrogation point or whatever. So as a result, I was afraid that it wasn't going to do what it was supposed to do. It wasn't going to count as an interrogation without both prisoners present at the interrogation. Remember, this mission task is very, very specific. You need in order to cross off this mission task, you need to do you need to listen to all 4 interrogations. You don't have to listen to that first part where they escort the male prisoner at the beginning there, but you do have to listen to this one and the one that we just came from and the Viscount. It's a lot of moving pieces, and as you and I have experienced, it can be an unbelievably massive pain in the ass. Okay, now he thinks that they're both here. So I went to, after I brushed my teeth, cycled for an hour, played some quick Vampire Survivors and whatnot, I went and I donated plasma. While I was plugged in at the plasma place, I went ahead and I couldn't think of anything to do. I couldn't think of anything to really, like, try to figure out or anything like that. I saw somebody making their own sugar, and sugar. It was primarily sucrose with a couple of whatevers in the background, but it was going to be able to operate as sugar does, and that's important. Because there's a guy that runs a website called IMakeMyOwnGas.com, and he is capable of taking sugar and water, fermenting it for a while, and then running it through a distiller enough times to make something that you can then mix 50-50 with gasoline, with regular unleaded gasoline. Mix it 50-50 with it, and just about any vehicle will run that mixture without any issues whatsoever.
That's not the target. Orders are only the Viscount gets rescued. Can't understand why he'd receive special treatment, but I don't imagine it'll be a problem to save the other prisoners too.
So, normal, like, fuel that is specific to whatever, normally you need flex fuel or something like that to have. He's got a helmet on? Yeah, he does. Matter, I've got my silencer now. So that guy over there is facing the opposite direction, and although I'd love to interview all these Boy Scouts, unfortunately it's just not the brightest idea at this point. And I'd love to take these 2 prisoners out of here. That's also not the brightest idea at this point because of what we just witnessed there. So, to the best of my ability, I'm going to try to empty this camp of as many people that might go anywhere near them as possible. It's going to be a painful process. Especially considering the excessive price of anything, any fuck up whatsoever, no matter how small. Okay, so getting the intel file does not autosave. But it does trigger a change in the weather, which means that we might actually be able to get these people out of here successfully with any hope. No.
That prisoner wasn't the target either. This most recent prisoner wasn't the target either. But we did learn the target's
Okay. Here we go. Okay. Everything is working the right way. With any hope, this mission will succeed. We'll be able to get this last mission task out of the way. I'll finally get that pony I wanted whenever I was a kid. You know, I'm fucking find somebody who loves me for me. A dead cat will come back to life, you know, the regular stuff. He's too close, which is fine because he's got no helmet on. Remember, they can hear Fulton extractions within 30 meters. But I'm afraid that that gentleman over there is going to see the Fulton extraction. However, he is perched in the opposite direction. So, bingo, bango, bongo. And it does look like the Viscount is on the move, which is all good stuff. So since I couldn't really figure out anything else to do whenever I was when I was plugged in at the plasma place today, waiting for all the blood to drain out of my body, make those vampires very happy. I don't want to miss this. I don't want to miss this. I don't want to fuck this up. I was going to go and get the guy in the tower over there, and I'm sure that there's probably a few guys at these little outpost lits building-ish things in the swamp. But I don't want to fuck this up. I just don't want to fuck this up. All the moving pieces are in place. Everybody's happy and ready to go. Just don't want to fuck this up. I don't want to be the factor. If the game fucks up, that's the game's thing. I don't want to be the factor. So anyhow. So, my iPad is all fucked up. Way back when, whenever I was in my first physics class, outside of my year of therapy that ate up most of 2018, smack dab in the middle of my divorce, my first physics class, I was introduced to a lot of mathematical symbols that I'd never seen before in my entire life. A lot of y equals mx plus b, a lot of MC AT MC equals T, something like that. What is that? Mass constant equals area time. I can't remember. So a lot of formulas, a lot of equations, and a lot of symbols that I'd never seen before in my entire life. Not in any mathematics class, not in any other class, period. And like, I don't have 16 million keys on my keyboard, brother. Like, there's only so much shit that I could do. So I've tried. I have tried many a time to take physical notes. And 100% of the time, whenever I take physical notes, they get fucked up somehow. And it's bad. It's bad for everybody involved. So 100% of the time, whenever I take physical notes, they get wadded up, they become unreadable, the graphite from the pencil gets rubbed off on it from the intense activity inside whatever school bag that I'm using. Something bad happens to physical notes, and I am never ever able to make any use of them whatsoever. It is bad every time. So whenever I first got into college, circa, started doing full-time college after leaving active duty in March of 2011. So that summer semester, I looked and I knew what was going to happen to the physical notes. So I went ahead and I turned around and I said, fuck that. And I started taking notes with a computer or a laptop. And that's what a lot of kids do. But like I said, I don't have 160 million keys on my motherfucking keyboard, man. So I can't whip out these mathematical symbols, these outright drawings of different physics objects and whatnot. I can't whip all this shit out of my ass so that I can take proper notes in physics classes. And chemistry classes are really no different. It is a lot of the same bullshit. Stoichiometry, stuff like that. All of the above. Let's see if everybody does what they're supposed to do finally. The actors are all in the right places. Showtime. Pretty please with cheese on top.
If you run into trouble, give us a call. We may be able to offer some advice.
Looks to me like the Viscount is not in the right place. The Viscount is supposed to be over there where I was looking and where they are all staring at the blank spot of the floor. For whatever reason, he has decided to stop there instead. Now my fear is that he stopped his animation because I was so close to the wall. Because he's supposed to stop doing everything that he's supposed to do whenever I get too close to him. So my fear is that this was my fault. But the outcome is the same. Either way, it should be perhaps easier to move and groove and get shit done.
That prisoner you extracted wasn't the target, but we did get some information. Seems the prisoners aren't held together, and the cells and interrogation rooms are separate places.
So, whenever I was trying to solve this conundrum specifically for my pre-med required physics courses, as part of my attempts to solve these issues,
If you're going to use a weapon, be careful not to draw the enemy's attention.
with my attempts to solve these issues, these problems, I, as part of these attempts,
Where are your friends?
I just don't want them waking up in the middle of these interrogations over here. I'm going to have to keep an eye on this unexpected guest down here. 2 of these guards are supposed to be here. Well, then there is no unexpected guest down here. 2 of the guards are supposed to be here, and one of them is the interpreter, and one of them is the interpreter's lackey. Okay, everything should be good to go for another redo of this motherfucking interrogation, and
Alles in orde.
any hope shit will fucking go the right way this time.
Hulle die inligting oor die MPL asook oor die veld regtig gekry.
Now you will both
Let
know.
us pray.
Where did you get the information on the MPL?
Okay, so
You don't know anything. I swear.
Hy sê hy sweer hy weet van niks.
So with my, in order to try to solve this issue involving and rotating around physics class and the weird symbols therein, I went and got on, I got on Craigslist, and I tried to find the cheapest possible iPad Pro. Why an iPad Pro? Because only the iPad Pro at the time, I believe, could interact with the Apple Magic Pencil. Why was any of this important? Because it had the best tracking that I could find in all of my research. Trust me, I tried to do anything else that was cheaper. I was on a fixed income. So, that being said, I found a guy on Craigslist. I went all the way out in the fucking bumfuck nowhere. And then I met up with this guy. Sold me the iPad Pro. I went and I got a Apple Magic Pencil for the damn thing. And everything was supposed to be fucking hunky fucking dory. And it was. It was for quite some time, it was. Everything was so great. People in my life finally respected me with that iPad Pro. People loved me. There was parades in the streets. Sometimes they would, crowds of people would gather and lift me over their heads and crowd surf me to my next location. Sometimes those locations were something like college campuses. Sometimes they were so impressed with me that that they would promise to build gold statues in my honor, stuff like that, all because of my iPad Pro. I'm being facetious, of course. However, times were good. The plan worked. Everything was going precisely as I had planned. Everything was good. Everything was great. It worked.
Where are your friends?
All I could do is fucking pray that that Joker down there does not turn around and witness these people, these guards and whatnot, escape the surly bonds of Earth 1 guard at a time. All I can do. But to aid in this task, I can knock each of them out first. And then at least he won't hear it. Spotting them, learning how to fly, can be something I can worry about, but mayhaps, hearing them won't be an issue.
Where are your friends?
Interpreter and his lackey have already began their, you see how those two prisoners flopped? They were going to stay perpetually on their knees, potentially forever. But I approached them, so they flopped down on the ground. The two guards overlooking them, I believe, are supposed to eventually execute them.
That prisoner wasn't the target either. This most recent prisoner wasn't the target either. But we did learn the target's field of movement. This is a list of prisoner detainment locations.
This is a diary entry. It's about this, one of the soldiers' favorite movie time snacks.
Where are your friends?
It says right here that malted milk balls are his favorite. He's lying, obviously. Malted milk balls aren't anyone's favorite.
Where are the others?
Something fishy about this boss. Obviously lying. Are you fucking kidding me? I got you right in the face, you motherfucker. You know it, I know it. As Kojima as my motherfucking witness. Now watch this guy over yonder. Okay. He never does turn around.
Spit it out. Where are your friends?
So anyway, the iPad Pro plan worked, but that was back in like late 2018. It was a long time ago. You know, times were better then.
Where are your friends?
That being said, it was the way that it was. Okay, 30 or more meters away. So, with the large amount of time that has passed between hither and thither, back in our nation's sordid past, really, there's nobody out here. I thought at the very least there was someone where the camera was facing, that there was like at least one guy out there somewhere. I can't believe that there's really no one. There's no one out here. Okay. There is someone out here. One guy left at the last. The last Joe's Crab Shack in America. He's gonna have to get taken out with the old-fashioned kung. Obviously. Okay, the Viscount is moving. Not moving very quickly, but he is moving. This time, we're going to create a smidge of difference between us and the window, just in case that last little fuck-up was my fault. So anyway, some time has passed between now and 2018, whenever I got this iPad Pro. It's been through a lot. I've moved several times since then. The last of my hair has gone away and went extinct like the dodo bird. Gained several pounds. I finally completed the Mage's quest on Oblivion. You know, these things, these are important milestones in a man's life. That last one isn't true. I haven't completed that quest yet. Not all the way. That was a good portion of the way there. See, there's the Viscount. Just look at him. Isn't he cute?
Looks like the target.
And with any help, we can just be over here on this roof, chilling like a villain, and everything will work right. The Viscount will end his walk where he needs to end his walk. All the pieces will fit together like Legos. Oh boy. Whenever we were going through the weapon modifications thing, was there a suppressor that fits on a shotgun? Was there one of those? Because if there was, then that's a way to silently take out these burning trash cans. They're such a pain in the ass. You know, they reflash on their own after a rain. Like it rained earlier, and obviously these are on fire again, and there's no animation for the guards to go over there and light a fire again. Nothing like that. But these burning barrels, they will do that all by their lonesome. Cross your fucking fingers for him to get where he needs to go this time. He doesn't stop here. And you know, he's drunkenly getting from hither to thither. Okay, alright, now he's down on the right spot. He's down on the right spot. Fucking hold your breath. Don't jinx it. Don't fucking say anything. Don't blink. Don't uncross your fingers. I fucking swear to you. If you fuck this up for me, I'll know it was you. This is it.
Sorry we kept you waiting. I see you gaan hem helpen van.
Misschien niet. Afhangende van wat je moet vertellen.
Maybe not, depending on what you've done.
We don't know the informant's identity.
Hij zei dat weet wie die informant is.
En verder waar.
He does not believe you.
Maar als jij zo graag je immer op ons komt, is er niet.
If you want to die, we will make it happen.
Nooit meer die prettige werken.
We never should have worked with the Brits.
Nationalist.
Geen nationalist.
Apartheid on its last legs already. Give it the times.
Apartheid is bezig om tot het einde te komen.
Yes, gatsie van een verraaier.
It is some attitude from a traitor.
What am I supposed to say? Trust me?
Hij verwacht je dat je hem moet vertrouwen.
How about we make a deal?
Hij zei hij wil proberen om een overeenkomst te sluiten.
Daardie is er iets te.
That door is closed already.
Wait.
Oh, you back.
That's it. Fucking did it, boys. All of the cookies crumbled precisely the way that they are supposed to. for the first time ever.
No need to follow him now. How about you extract him and we'll put him to work for us?
Okay, put you down. 100% extract rate, that is rare. Oh, whatever. We'll get these gentlemen out of here too while we're at it. Fuck it, no reason not
Target
to.
extraction confirmed. Get yourself out of the hot zone. By chopper or by land. It's your choice.
Fucking finally, dude.
Interpreter too. Think you can extract him?
So, the iPad Pro has been through a lot. It has been through an awful lot. And now it is, it's not looking so hot anymore, the iPad Pro. The charger needs to be in just the right configuration for it to even charge. The schnozberries taste like schnozberries, you know, like it is, it's not the best. Last time that I interacted with it, I had to put pressure on it in a very certain way in order to get it to even, like, turn on.
Alright, that's the interpreter extracted. All you need to do now is...
So, in order to get the screen to display, I had to place a certain amount of pressure on the damn thing. So now, you're listening to me and you're like, who the fuck cares about your iPad? What does this have to do with anything? I'll tell you. I'll reveal to you the secrets of this particular situation. A while back, a long time ago, I utilized the iPad Pro and all of its capabilities, including the Magic Pencil, to do something incredible. I downloaded the IL tax sale list of properties for sale. I downloaded this list. And then, after downloading this list, after everything else was said and done, I, on a separate device, I went ahead and I, who the fuck is concentrating fire on the enemy chopper? There must be a couple patrolmen over yonder. Deny the enemy as much as possible. Fuck them. So I downloaded the list of properties up for tax sale from iltaxsale.com. I paid for the PDF and everything, and then I had it, and it was, you know, like a little slideshow. It's a PDF, so it's like a little slideshow on my iPad Pro, right? So then, on a separate device, I whipped out the list, which is free, the list of properties that had already been sold. So I whipped out that list. So that was that. I whipped out the list. And then, with this free list, I cross-checked it with the list of properties still for sale. You get what I'm saying yet? Are you fucking picking up what I'm dropping right now? Then I was able to take the iPad Apple Pencil and I was able to cross off the list, the properties that had already been sold. And not just that, dear viewer. I was able to do much, much more. With each and every property, I went through them one at a time, just feeling as sexy as a man can feel. And each and every property that remains that had not been sold at the last a tax sale real estate auction with every property that had remained for me to not have to go to the auction and get in a bidding war with somebody else. With each and every property that remained, I drew down on the PDF itself. I drew notes about why not this property, why not that property. For each property that had not been the limits of whatever city it's in, has their own building codes, and they're draconian in nature. Perhaps that was my issue against it. Or perhaps it was a very small property. Perhaps, like I discovered a few years ago that some of the properties that were set up in a certain location, some of the properties that were set up were in fact set up in someone's backyard. Remember in an earlier broadcast whenever I stated specifically that tax sales that are sold at auction, tax sale properties are sold as is. So if there's a fucking squatter there, then you've got to get rid of them. And if they come back and fucking murder you in the middle of the night, that's all you, baby. So how often does that happen? Not very often, especially if you are buying land, a vacant tract of some way, shape, or form, a lot. You are not likely to be looking at like a yard in between two houses that is currently occupied by a person wearing a dirt crown that he made himself. He's dug a hole in the ground and he's put a tarp over the top. That's not something that you're likely to come across. Not too many subterranean people here. Not too many mole people out here in the Midwest, as far as you know. So yeah, there's just not too much here. There's not too much. Not too much danger of this sort of getting out of control in some way, shape, or form, right? So, that's that. All right. We're all caught up. Task 1 is going to be extract all 4. Task 2 is going to be destroy all 4. Task 3 is going to be grab the truck. Task 4 is going to be what? Is there two prisoners? There's like 2 prisoners. So is that task 4? And then task 5 is going to be a plant behind the helicopter landing area. That's going to be task 4 or task 5. By the way, like I said, does this damn thing? No, apparently it does not. Apparently we do not have a way to silently take out a burning trash can. What a pain. What a pain. So with my magical abilities of taking all of this nonsense and able to make marks on the PDFs themselves and all that kind of stuff, that was some good shit and everything. But without that iPad around, I can't do that. Every single time that I open up the document of the list of properties that are currently for sale in the tax sale, real estate auction, whatever, every single time that I do that, I gotta fucking start over from square zero. I gotta make mental notes.
The PF at Ditati Abandoned Village has been supplied with walker gears. Your job is to eliminate them all. Destroy them, extract them, whatever you see fit. This just might get us closer to the walker gear supplier, Cypher. Good luck, boss.
So, like whenever I used to have an iPhone back in the day, back in those times, so long ago, whenever I was young and innocent, back in those times, whenever I used to have an iPhone, I would take notes in the Notes app. Then, one day, after spending so long without a phone at all, one of my phones disappeared following one of my cousin's wedding, and nobody could find it anywhere. My phone that came as a package with whenever I was married, you know, we had matching husband and wife phones. That phone I sold, and then there was a brand new phone that somebody in some phone company let me have, and so I immediately sold it as well. They gave me a free phone. They gave me $100. That's how much the phone cost at the end of the day. Everything was said and done. I was going around, like, there's like this, you know, there's hustle YouTube, right? There's all this like hustle culture YouTube crap, hustle YouTube, and you know, so I was going around, I was looking at all that shit, and there's one particular group of guys that was that I started like going down their particular rabbit hole, and like this guy was like, I don't care what your credit is, as long as you have not done this series of actions before, you can get about $3,600 in your pocket, something stupid like this. He said, there's like these phone companies that, like, no matter what will give you a brand new phone, like a brand new iPhone or some shit like that. And he said, like, you can flip these motherfuckers for, you know, a good amount of money on Craigslist or some shit, but even if you don't want to do some shit like that, you can straight up, without any exaggeration, head down to an Eco ATM and sell all these motherfuckers. And he says, like, it's important. I think he was talking something about, like, something about how, like, it takes a little bit to put everything in the system or whatnot. So, like, it's important for, like, if you want to do this, to, like, do it quickly. I think that was what he was talking about. It's like, you can go to several different, you can, like, wake up early in the morning, head to, like, several different places that, like, have phones and whatnot, and sign up for every one of the motherfuckers, and it'll take long enough for that shit to, like, hit your credit and hit their systems that you can, that doing all of this is like, you know, like, you can get, like, a ton of brand new, like, iPhones and shit that you can immediately flip either on Craigslist if you want to, or just on just headed down to an Eco ATM. I think I talked about this on a previous broadcast. There's also a group of people, apparently down in Oregon. Their EBT card, Electronic Benefits Transfer card, their food stamps card is called an Oregon Trail card. And apparently there's a big secret out there that you can go ahead and get an Oregon Trail card, head down to the local, whatever, the local groceria, and get a whole bunch of bottled water. And then head out into the parking lot, dump out the water. Head back into the groceria that has a machine in it for plastic bottle redemption. A plastic bottle redemption machine. And by doing so, you could take the you can take essentially $300 in food stamps and turn it into $200 in cash and use that money how you wish. Now this is like a high risk, this is a high risk, low reward strategy. First and foremost, these sorts of redemption machines are almost exclusive to Oregon, with very few other places actually having them. So regular bottle retention, plastic water bottle redemption programs, those who are out there, like they're
You gotta extract him.
right before, dude. You see how great that was? Right before reflex mode activated, I fucking got his ass. Now, at the end of the day, I'm still at least semi-upset that I just kicked the dog, but that's greatly outweighed by how fucking smooth that was. Smooth as motherfucking silk, boys. Hell yeah.
He's coming too. Roger that.
No reflex. This no reflex bonus is going to carry us through, because the time bonus is not. Going through, capturing the whole place takes too much time. So there's like several of these, like, you know, long-term damaging, short-term amazing, you know, solutions. And I think that the wildest one that I've heard is this whole, like, going from one fucking phone place to the next, and grabbing these brand new phones and then immediately turning around and selling them for. And I think I've expressed my grief about, like, you know, so like doing the bottled water redemption thing, doing all that nonsense is not a violation of anything. It's not a violation of any law. It's not the way that you're supposed to use these things. However, at the end of the day, you're not breaking the law. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just using your food stamps in an unexpected way. And one thing that you're not supposed to do is to take your food stamps and turn it into, like, for example, if you took your food stamps, went to the store, and bought nothing but olive oil, and then mixed it with some lye that you got from, I don't know, like plasma donation money, like I did. Like I get money donating plasma. So if that was the case, if that's what you did, and you went ahead and took your plasma donation money and you bought some lye, and that was your methodology that you were going to use to go ahead and, you know, make these limes and the limonade, all so that you could make soap, make olive oil soap. And then turning around and selling that olive oil soap, that is an improper use of the of your food stamps under the terms and conditions that you can read on the government's official website. And it is against the law, I believe, and will result not only in revocation of your food stamps, but also potential financial penalties as well, and possibly even jail time. I know for a matter of fact that that is not allowed. Just like selling your actual food stamps. Selling your food stamps is not allowed either. If you got $500 on your food stamps card and somebody's just like, yo, I'll pay you $400 for $500 worth of food stamps or some shit like that, that is not allowed. That is unlawful. That is an unlawful transaction. You are not supposed to do that. So somebody offering that to you, if you want to, fucking snitch on them. You absolutely can. You would be well within your rights to do so. I have no fucking clue where this last enemy is. What a fucking pain in the ass. Whatever, we'll go ahead and take these things out and fucking party time afterwards. How about that? Got them apples.
Another one down. Now for the next.
What do you mean another one? There's only one.
Nice work. Keep it up. Target destroyed. Excellent work. Flawless work. You never cease to amaze, boss.
I know.
Great. No targets
That's
remaining.
it.
Your objective's complete. Exfiltrate out of the hot zone by chopper or on land.
Like I said, big mission task 5. I don't know what number it is, but one of the 5 mission tasks is to grab this plant up here, this one.
The shape of its petals gives it the nickname the pincushion. It's used in local
I
traditional
think
medicine as a pain reliever and tranquilizer.
one of the tasks is to grab that truck down there, and I think one of the tasks is to go ahead and to grab all the prisoners. I'm just still completely flabbergasted that I have not captured this outpost, and yet I also cannot find any enemies. So what gives? I try to do 2 birds, 1 stone here. We're going to go ahead and capture this truck down here.